Good morning, everyone. This is day 3 of making sourdough Italian herb bread. So we put it in the refrigerator for 12 hours, or actually more than that. And you can see this is what it looks like when I took it out of the refrigerator. So it is still bubbly. Even though it was in the refrigerator, it still continued to rise a little bit. So what we're gonna do now is put 2 more cups of flour in it because it's pretty gooey right now, you can tell. So we're gonna add a couple of cups of flour. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my first cup in. And then I'm gonna stir it around a little bit. And then we're gonna be pulling it out on a clean surface, floured surface, and doing a little bit of kneading on it. So you can see the texture is really changing now that I'm adding that flour to it. And this is something that you can use your KitchenAid with too, but just because it's easier to show you without using it, I'm doing it with a spoon. Okay, now this is probably a lot less stickier now. I'm going to add that other cup of flour. And we're going to add some salt. So it's kind of up to you about the salt, but they say sometimes a little bit under a tablespoon. I'm going to probably do just 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, that's probably 1 because I didn't quite make it in the spoon. 2, roughly. And then I'm going to add some Italian herbs. So you can do all kinds of things. You can add cheese and herbs. I'm just going to make it easy today and just use this Italian herbs. But if you wanted to use like a tablespoon of basil, a tablespoon of oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, whatever you want. But I'm just going to make it easy here and add, there's 2 tablespoons of just this pre-mixed Italian seasoning. And that's really all we're going to add to this. I'm going to stir it up a little bit so when I put it out on the surface, I won't lose everything. But I'll continue mixing it out on this floured surface that I'm going to create here. And so put a little bit of flour down. I cleaned the surface already and then cleaned that off because you don't want any bad detergents on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this out onto my surface so I could do a little kneading. Try to get as much from the bowl onto the bread that I can. And I'm gonna knead this a little bit. So the texture is a lot different. It's very soft. You can see if I stretch it, it tears. Now, eventually that won't happen. So it's not ready for baking, obviously. We're gonna mix that up, try to get as much of the flour in there as possible. Then we're gonna put it in another bowl and let it rise, possibly for 5 hours. You have to look at it and see what it looks like, but it could be up to 5 hours that you let it rise again. So this is a long day with the bread because then we're gonna knead it some more and divide it up into 2 loaves if we want and let it rise again. So this rising process today could be about a total of 7 hours altogether. So you wanna start in the morning. So if you want the bread by night. So I'm just gonna knead it for a bit, try to get as much of the flour in as possible. I've started learning that by not adding too much flour, letting it be a little sticky, that I actually have more air bubbles in the bread. Otherwise it gets pretty dense. And that was only from trial and error to figure that out. So I like to have a little bit of, if you tear it, you see some bubbles in the bread after it's cooked, little holes in the bread. You can see it's taking up this flour right now. So I'm just gonna do this for probably another minute and then I'm gonna put it in a bowl, I'm gonna cover it, and in probably about 2 or 3 hours I might take it out, play with it a little bit, knead it, put it back in the bowl and let it rise a couple more hours. Now I've done it where I don't do that. I just leave it in the whole 5 hours and then take it out and knead it. But we'll do some more on that part 4 of the video after this rests for about 5 hours. Okay, have a great day, everybody.